Hello and welcome to Star Trek Reliant. I am Duncan Idaho, the DM, and I was not killed by kangaroos while I was off doing research in Australia.
Yay.
Tonight we have a lukewarm yay from Kara. Tonight we have the epic finale of Trident, at least as far as the main plot is concerned. Broadly, what we have for the last few episodes gone through is the mystery insides of Beta, finding spooky aliens that I'm very surprised you guys let out of the holding cell.
To be fair, it was one guy in particular.
And to be fair, I thought it was friendly. Turns out I was right.
Kind of.
You might be right.
I mean, next Trident adventure, we will find out more about Center. But for tonight, we will basically kick things off with the planet of Gamma. Everyone's come through the portal. Everyone is basically ready to go. And what you see in front of you is, well, something that quite unusual, which is saying a lot for Trident. The structures ahead aren't so much, well, what you were maybe expecting of a planetoid. Everything is just floating. So you have a initial walkway stretching ahead of you towards a complex geometric array of floating blocks, platforms, and other bits of structure that have been haphazardly tossed around and in some cases intertwined with other parts of this structure. It looks almost, cellular in some cases, things that you would find underneath a microscope. In others, it's rigid geometry, and everything just, again, looks to be in a bit of a haphazard mess.
Kara finds herself staring at it for a moment and then just says, I hate it.
I mean, I guess that's what happens when you don't have gravity going on.
Well, I mean, there's gravity here. I mean, if you look, down from the platform, there's a planet below you, and it's quite a long way down. But yeah, you've basically got a path forward, and that's how you're going to get on in Gamma.
Looks like something a mad scientist would come up with. Or
Daniel's...
someone...
Oh, sorry.
Go.
All right, Daniel starts scanning to try and find out what kind of fuckery is this.
Okay, hold on. I am so unused to this, we did not do the character intros. So blame this on Duncan and still being jet lagged. But let's go ahead.
I just thought that's how we were rolling today.
It felt off for some reason, so yeah, let's go ahead and actually give us a proper introduction. So we've got Gamma, this weird thing we'll get to in a minute. But first, Security Officer Chorog.
Hail to the Pirate King, baby.
Man out of time, DB Wells.
I'm so out of time that I jumped ahead and started doing things before we started.
Science Officer Grawl.
Woohoo! I'm only kind of messed up now.
Con Officer Car Junrani, played by Drowlin.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry if my yay was lukewarm, but I didn't think it was likely that a kangaroo would get you. My money was on the drop bears.
Kangaroos and roadways are a big thing. XO and CMO, Eli O'Connor.
See, you think you escaped the kangaroo, but that van that's been sitting outside for the last 20 minutes, kangaroo kill team. You've been warned.
Eep. And Chief and Engineer Rick Deere.
I mean, I did try to send the kangaroo assassination team after him. It just didn't work this time.
All right, so let's get back to Gamma. So Gamma, big floaty weird planetoid thingy. And once people get rolling, I will have a screenshot ready for that, because Foundry. But basically, you just have a path forward. like, you know that something of importance is here. You've got to find, well, Speaker Rune has to be here. This is the heart of Trident, where the entire system is controlled. And you've been through a lot to get to this point. So everyone's kind of expecting that big confrontation. So everyone go ahead and give me an insight, science, security, or engineering roll. So insight, and then pick your flavor.
See, this is what happens when I'm not the DM anymore. I forget to open the drive.
Insight what again?
Insight, security, engineering, or science, whichever. I'm looking at a sea of single successes, except for DB and Eli, who are standing out.
I have a sneaking suspicion that focus in space-time might have applied, which is unfortunate because I was one away from getting I was one away from getting either 3 or 4 successes.
Okay, and I just posted a bunch of screenshots, so I need to organize my Foundry screenshots. But basically, you have this dark, blue-hued, and rather foreboding set of complex things to work through here. Although looking a little bit more organic than what you see in the screenies here, as things may have changed. So, with those results, let me just browse through those real quick, and I cannot do that while also talking because I need push to talk.
Kara just continues to look around at the train. Yep, I definitely hate it. But that's okay. I think I hate the person who lives here.
I think we all hate them.
It is a very disjointed architecture.
All right, so everyone, it basically, like, for the people who got 1 success, you have the general idea that forward is probably a good idea, but what happens after forward is something to be discovered. For DB and Eli, you were both able to make out that if you go forward and then a bit to the left, you're able to reach it looks to be a continuous walkway that basically arcs up, down, and then over what looks to be some kind of large wall. So you are able to spot a good direction to go.
Is there a railing on this?
There is no railing.
Kara just kind of moves toward the center and starts walking forward and just says, yeah, watch your step.
I want to jump up and down a little to see if gravity feels normal for us.
Ooh. Hey, if you look out the side, you might be able to see some birds way down there.
Birds? Eli looks.
Could be birds, could be aircraft. It's hard to tell. There's some stuff moving way down there.
Okay, yeah, I don't like this place at all. I'm feeling very exposed. Can we please move?
Yep, keep moving.
The group moves along, and you eventually come to what basically looks to be a console overlooking effectively the wall that the walkway loops around. On the other side of that, there seems to be a bit of a juncture and a few more paths that may potentially lead forward, but they may need some activation. So you have a console to your left, and then the path continues down to your right. Down, down, down. And time to see if you can work a little bit of Trident technology to find the best path forward.
Yeah, Rick here will be moving forward to examine what's there.
Insight engineering.
Charles will assist with information hacking.
Excellent.
What's
Same world. Insight engineering.
Okay.
And while they're doing technology stuff, tinkering, Daniel will scan around, like I said before the intros, to see what kind of fuckery is going on here with the floating stuff.
I'll tell you the scan roll on that one. Your tricorder has no idea. It may not even be that this is real terrain around you. That some of this stuff may be, well, not quite a hologram, but it might not really be there. But as far as everyone else goes, you have, I'll count that as 4 successes. You guys have 2 momentum now. You are able to basically work the pathway and, extend that on to the most direct path leading towards what looks to be starting to be a bit more of a imposing structure ahead of you. So there's still a little bit of a walkway beyond, but you're able to effectively rig up a path leading from the juncture down below and towards the main walkway leading into the facility. However, go for it.
I was just going to say, Goro tries to scan to see if he can get an age on the structure, like how long it's been here.
Okay, go ahead and give me an insight science roll, and I'm going to spend 2 threat. Your complication range is 18.
And Goro also has a focus in xenoarchaeology. I assume that's a focus.
That would apply. Yes, that would apply.
I think that's crit 2, is it, for focus?
Crit is going to equal whatever your... I forget which one of the two is, but it's going to equal your science skill.
It's equal to the discipline.
Yep.
So you got 2 successes. You're able to determine that this structure is old, is so old that it just gives your tricorder an error reading. There are basically things that, there's certain assumptions with the age analysis that the tricorder is using. One is that the structure is within the age of the universe. This is far older. Far older. You're able to determine that much, but the tricorder isn't able to give you a number because it is just confused as hell that this, a number this large as a date is being presented to it as information.
Hey, guys, I'm getting some weird results. This says that the structure ahead is older than our current universe somehow.
Kara nods. Well, that makes it about the same as when we got here and scanned in the ship.
Is Daniel getting any funny feelings about the structure?
No, you're completely blank on this now. You've had, a little bit of feeling of familiarity with a lot of the stuff you've seen on Trident. Gamma is completely blank to you. It's a little disconcerting.
Alright. I was thinking more from, a time perspective, but that works too.
Oh, yeah, so the time, a time perspective, there's no timey-wimey business going on here. This thing, it just exists, Trident as a whole exists outside the universe in its own little pocket of subspace. So, so long as the system itself is stable, it can just keep going and going and going and going. So, with that, I want everyone to give me an insight security roll.
I'm going to do one for Eli and one for Ryuji.
I mean, the complication I didn't have any control over, but overall I'm just using insight as my dump stat when I made my character.
I feel like everyone did. No one has good insight. Okay, there's Eli, let me do Ryuji.
I didn't
Technically,
know how much insight would be used.
I have good insight.
Technically, there is a stat I have that's lower than insight, and that's presence.
Okay, hold on. The Eli one didn't go through, so try again. There we go. Now Ryuji.
That said, as soon as I got only a complication and no successes, Duncan was extremely happy, so...
Damn, Ryuji going for it.
Alright, Ryuji's going for it like a champ. To get the complication out of the way, Kara, you walk past with some growing horror for everyone else in the party. As you're walking through by the pathway, suddenly something is there next to you. And it's a large something. It's a little you have that moment of, oh wait, something's not right here. And then you're picked up by this something. Ryuji, you notice you're basically on top of this so fast that you're able to get in an action once I show people what this thing is.
Oh boy.
You have it's difficult to describe because it is just a mess of biological features. So it's got 4 very needle-like legs. It's got this weird brush thing hanging off a single arm underneath its torso and body. The head is basically just crooked forward off of a long neck, and it consists of a set of 2 triangular plates with possibly eyes set around it. And it is holding Kara with basically one of its, it basically caught Kara by the. She's wearing like normal clothes, right? At this
Yeah.
point.
She is dressed. She's not nude.
Okay. Like, I was just making sure that she didn't have like on like a skin tight suit that would make this difficult. But yeah, you're basically caught by the belt, and this thing is holding you up with one of its spindle legs, giving you an examination. Ryuji.
Yes. Ryuji, he's going to quickly get into action, charging, just rushing forth, drawing his sword and slashing into like one of the legs, like trying to get the knee.
Okay, so go ahead and give me a daring security roll.
I'm already planning it. I already had it here ready to go. Let's hope
Excellent.
Magneto works with us tonight. She does not want to work with us tonight.
One success. I'm going to say that's fine. Basically, you're able to get a good, clean whack on the leg. It doesn't completely cut through it, but it's enough of a hit that it loses its hold on Kara. So basically, you hit the leg so hard, it basically just goes slack, and that allows Kara to just slide right off. And this thing does not like to be played with like that, and immediately disappears, like just kind of almost like it's stepping into a shadow, but there's no shadow there. It just steps away and fades from view while you're looking at it.
From Kara's point of view, there was a tired, somewhat quieter scream than you would expect, then a thump, and just her saying, "I hate this place."
Definitely got some weird quantum shenanigans going on. I can't think of a better word.
Ryuji helps Kara up.
Thank you.
Setsu rushes over and proceeds to look over Kara, and Graves steps over and gives Ryuji a pat on the shoulder.
Kara just kind of waves Sets off and just says, "I'm just tired."
Right.
Well, I guess we know to be careful of that. Still no place to go but forward.
Ahead of you looms a large structure. Triangular and pointy. Does have a door, though.
Any similarity to the face plates of the thing that just disappeared?
Nope, it looks to be coincidental. Like, this thing looks... It has much more of a look of the structures that you were seeing in beta. So, it just looks more like... almost like a temple built by the same people. This is much less organic looking.
Well, having been shown the danger, Kara is going to grab her phaser pistol and then just continue walking towards the door. This time, at least, a little more prepared if she suddenly is hoisted by her belt.
After seeing a thing just kind of fade into existence and then fade out of existence, Daniel just does a quick check on his chrono scanner just to see, like, did things exist before we were here to perceive them, that type of thing. Just kind of taking a glimpse back to see if anything was noticeably different.
So, as you're looking back in the chrono scanner, things are certainly looking different, but there's also a lot more interference than you've seen with the device thus far. The further back you go, the more garbled the transmission is, which could be a quantum effect or could be something interfering with the workings of this device. Like, whatever signals it's picking up temporally, they could be obscured by some weird fields happening here.
As we walk, Daniel just says, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to really get a handle on what's exactly is going on here. I mean, clearly space functions for us right now because we're moving through space, but at the very least, time might function a little differently or not, or not.
Don't worry, if something comes up, I'll handle it.
Pim pipes up and says, Yep, things be pretty... what's the word?
We actually left Pim behind on beta.
Oh, god damn it, that's right.
Him and John Doe are sitting in the car.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry. Marcus then says, "Yeah, that makes sense for Gamma."
Maybe when I find her, I'll use Trident itself to kill her.
I mean,
Subaru says, "Oh, Sabata says at this point, well, I mean, like this place is kind of just responding to us, like as everything else is. And she waves a hand towards some of the floating bits around them, and the semi-organic looking lattices and arching pathways kind of resolve for a few minutes as like geometric structures as Sabatu is looking at them.
Just be careful if you decide to do that with the path we're on.
Sabatu gives a curtain nod.
Walk, walk, walk to the door.
Everyone's walking to the door. No distractions coming in. Like a giant terminal that makes death scorpions.
We are actually moving through space, right? Like we're getting closer to the structure.
You are actually getting closer to the structure. It's just it's a long walk, bro. Building up a little bit of the tension here. And as you're walking up to the door, well, good news. Well, it's a door. Bad news is there seems to be another locking mechanism.
What is a locking mechanism before 100 pounds of explosives?
Let's not do that. We're standing on a thin platform.
No, that was out of character.
Daniel looks around and says, Can I try just knocking?
Chorg and I probably could find out some solution. There's got to be some kind of manual release, even if there isn't a lock.
If nothing else, Sabatu and I could probably try something.
We can have Chorog poke around. He has mechanical tinkering.
All right, go ahead and first on Chorog and Rick, if you want to assist with the mechanical tinkering. Insight engineering, spending 3 threat. Chorog continues to roll it infuriatingly well.
Hey, you already got one complication out of this. The dice gods are guaranteed to give you nothing.
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
All right. For 2 successes, Chorog, you're able to realize the danger before Rick suffers any permanent harm. Basically, as you two look at effectively what seems to be like a large floating plate, just hanging a circular, perfectly smooth, white, shiny surface that's hovering a few feet in front of the door. You start looking to see if this thing has anything mechanical to tinker with, but as you do that, sharp spikes start like poking out from this thing, and Chorg, you're able to basically yank Rick back before he is poked. But as you go back, you also see the thing basically relaxes and returns to normal.
Futuristic punji pit. That's clever.
Good way to scare people off. So it's not an ongoing.
What is it with this place and spikes?
It's not an ongoing deterrent, though.
Let's see if we can find a way to placate this thing. If not, I'll just destroy it.
I mean, we've still got plenty of explosives thanks to the doctor's good preparation.
There's got
Eli,
there's got to be some kind of disarming mechanism around here somewhere.
Eli, would you like to direct the crew?
I'm honestly not sure what to do. Like, explosives probably a bad idea, so...
All right. Well, I have something Kara can try. I don't want to take over the session, so I wasn't going to do it until other people had tried. Kara just walks up to the thing, stares at it sternly, and just says, "Let me in."
I was just
lighting up, but he's not talking.
Because I'm considering the options here.
Okay.
And I just did presence science and got 2 successes.
Damn it, okay, that settles it.
That was my worst attribute, so...
I was going to have you roll for it.
The floating thing was like on the floor or just floating in front of us, but...
Floating in front. Basically, it's a dish that's facing you a few feet in front of the door and a few feet up. As Kara gives it the command, the plate begins to essentially sparkle and begins dissolving to the left and right, essentially trickling from both ends into the surrounding alcove of the gateway door. As you do this, the gate begins to tremble open. And all around you, you start seeing structure, like additional structure just sort of like emerge around you and start to sort of enclose the walkway behind you. And as the structure is coming up, there are a lot of these symbols that start flashing on. And the Universal Translator starts picking up this symbology. And it effectively reads like a hymn proclaiming that Trident is an internal structure. And here is the heart of the caretaker, the one tasked with keeping Trident and sentient life here for eternity. So it always has a home, regardless of the universe, regardless of how cyclical it is, regardless of how many times things repeat, there will always be a memory. The way ahead of you is opening into Arun's chamber, the speaker.
Kara ends up leaning slightly against the door while reading all the various things floating around.
I wonder why anything in this place obeys the laws of physics, if that's the case.
Kara just shrugs and says, from what we've seen of world technology, I'm not sure that it does obey the laws of physics as we know them.
Let's just keep moving forward and deal with the situation.
You enter into this yawning, in fact, it almost looks like a lab room. It's there's a bit of a walkway down, or a few stairs down into this sort of recessed floor, around which you have a large display panel, this holographic projection of the entire Trident system, with what appears to be a scanning protocol in place, looking for effectively signs of a USS Reliant, but it hasn't been able to find it yet. One thing to note, though, is that as you're walking into this control center, there's no one there.
Kara just kind of looks around and then looks at the scanning and just says, don't tell me we got here just as she left for some other place. Did she go to is she looking for the ship?
It looks like it. I'd say destroy the consoles, but with how this shit works, I don't see that being effective at all.
Also, destroying the consoles at the heart of everything in this dimension, from what the door said, probably isn't the best idea while we're on one of the planets.
You can just stop the scan if that's worrisome.
We're well hidden enough, but let's stop the scan anyway, yeah.
Kara is able to stop the scan fairly easily by interfacing with the technology. As Subata walks around the room, the consoles are also lighting up for her as well. DB.
Yes?
You get the sense, a familiar sense, of a goat-faced man. His presence you have not... you felt him here and there, but it's a sight that you have not felt in some time. And it takes you a minute to realize he's on the other side of the room. Like behind a pillar. He's like right there.
Does no one else seems to be noticing them?
You're noticing him first.
Okay.
Kara is leaning tiredly on the console, just kind of staring at it, so she's not in a position to notice much.
When Daniel's seems to squinting at something across the room, and then there's just suddenly just straighten up, point, and say, "It's you!" and starts walking over.
Kara will whirl around at that to look and see what he found.
Everybody looks.
Yeah.
Everyone is looking at a strange, goat-faced alien in a blue robe, smiling and leaning on a pole, or leaning on a pillar. He says...
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go for it.
You're real? I thought that was just a weird hallucination from dimension hopping or something.
I am indeed real.
Kara at that point steps up. I know that voice.
Yes. Done magnificently well getting to this location. There were some doubts, but things tend to turn out in the most amusing ways.
Hell no, not another, you've been my pawn all along situation. Shorog, I make him unreal.
Wait, no. He like waves his hands.
I can do that.
He's waving his hands frantically, like, no need for
Kara-
that.
Kara also just kind of turns and says, yeah, this is the guy who helped me avoid being splattered when this area was attacked and I escaped.
All right,
I
play
would-
that order.
Okay,
I would
so-
appreciate it and consider it a personal favor if you don't splatter him.
Okay, so don't turn him into meatloaf. Got it.
Exactly.
Are you the reason why I've been recognizing all the stuff around this place I've never been to before?
Yes. I am. I'm gave some additional insight as I thought someone in your party would need it, but as it turns out, you also find a guide. So may have been a little overkill, but yes, I've tried to be helpful. Although I wouldn't say I have any pawns to play in this matter. Generally interested in see how things turned out.
How did you get here, though? This is the speaker that we're about to kick the ass of. The place.
Yes, this is a place that is currently in some disrepair. Holes everywhere in barriers that used to be quite fortified. You encountered one of these other outsiders just before you arrived, though your Kitsune friend dealt with them quite impressively.
Gagarin just kind of limps forward and just looks at them and says, this would seem to be what I remember. The caretaker was not always particularly good with her attention to detail.
Some of that is, well, I would say the fault of my, I want to say fellows. We're all from different places, different ages, different realities. The problem with Gamma, as you see, is that it is not a cohesive realm. Once it was, but no longer. Things dwell here that should not.
Well,
Like
that's lovely non-specific and terrifying.
It's difficult to know exactly how far Gamma has been compromised, but what it needs desperately for survival is a caretaker. Arun has left. Not.
What do you mean, left?
Well, they have left by similar means by which I came. I don't know where they are now, but they are not on Trident.
You mean they fled before we even could get here?
Yes, I believe so.
Kara turns and smashes the console nearest her with her left arm.
Sabati steps over and starts regenerating the console.
Don't worry about the console, Smutter. It's not important.
Oh, okay.
Well, this is frustrating.
Yes. Imagine so. Well, with Arun gone, there is the problem that Trident has no guidance whatsoever.
Well, that's a real shame. Anyway.
Yes.
Kara looks back at Eli and is like, no, you don't understand how big a shame this would be. You already know that this place doesn't obey the laws of physics, and that it seems to run on an infinite generation of energy. I don't want to know what happens if that goes haywire.
Imagine, well, I'd say a big bang, but entire disruption of the universe.
Oh, fortunately there are some distances involved, but it certainly would not be good. We need a new caretaker.
Gagarin moves forward and says, this was expected. However, he looks at Kara. The most promising candidate is not interested in the job.
Fortunately, there is another in your party that has some connection to Trident. He looks at Sabatu, but then Sabatu looks to Eli, and then looks to Dro. And Sabatu says, well, like, I can interface with things just fine, but, like, the problem with Caretaker isn't just, waving hands and making technology work. I mean, you can augment anyone for that.
Kara
And she
also
gestures
just
to Kara.
Kara also gestures to, the output scan of the system and says, yeah, well, you need to know what you're doing around here, or, look at the biome patchwork that's gone on here.
Yeah, so you need someone who knows Trident.
More importantly,
Kara at this point turns and stares at Dro.
More importantly, you need someone who knows how things should work.
The good face man says there are some guidance for that, but so long as someone is selected, then things can work. No one here currently understands the full workings of Trident. That information comes with time. So everyone's just kind of looking at Dro, and then Dro looks at Graves. And Graves says, well, we're looking at how to get out of here, but I think this place really needs you more. And Dro is looking around and says, well, this is just a lot. Like, going from, just someone trying to make things right to someone way over their heads, working with pirates and, big movement, and all I was doing was just trying to get, you thought, he dressed as Graves, for Ilium. Like, just wanted things to be better. And
well, look at this. If you take all this power, that becomes your job. Making things bright, making them better. That's all anyone it will be looking for. And frankly, I think the last claimant for the title has left you a very low bar to step over.
Well, I suppose so.
Kara just looks at him. Weren't you the one who wanted change?
Yeah, I guess. All right. I'll do whatever it takes.
Just a fair warning, though. You start going insane and start trying to take people without their consent again, I'm going to blow everything up. I won't care.
Okay, that is perfectly understandable and reasonable. I will appoint you, ambassador to blowing things up if I go crazy.
Vigarin moves over to stand beside Dro and simply says, gathering specimens to preserve in Trident is its main mission. However, we will be a great deal more careful and sympathetic, especially when dealing with sapient species. This I can promise.
The biggest thing you can do is literally just ask.
Yeah, Dro nods vigorously. I fully agree with this, and we will. There'll be some change, some big change.
Somehow I feel like it's not all birthday cake and cigars from here. There's something still missing.
Kara laughs. Yeah, Arun.
Well, beyond that, the goat-faced alien looks a little uncomfortable. To designate a new caretaker and begin the augmentation process, there is a room required. It's over there, and something's in there. It's not a rune. May have scared her off.
Is this one of your strange... She just kind of waves her hands. Things that crept in?
Outsiders, beings from beyond the universe like myself, who pop in here. I do it for, to keep myself sane, more or less. I don't know about this one. Just try to keep out of its view. And I believe the ambassador of explosions will be required.
Gotcha. So, weird thing that shouldn't be here, almost certainly hostile.
Yes, for Rune to leave as she did, I believe it is a problem.
Alright, well, let's go take care of it then.
It'll be my distinct pleasure.
Rick here already has his phaser out.
Real quick, Daniel wants to Daniel knows that his chrono scanner isn't too effective on Gamma, but he still wants to take a look at this room to see what Goatface was doing before we actually arrived.
looking around in curiosity, and then hiding behind a pillar when he heard things. He heard the door opening. That's as much as you can get.
Okay.
We don't have enough range at present to see what Arun was doing here. So, with that, basically, a doorway is gestured, and, well, you guys are free to go see what the fuss is about. And with that, let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break. Another hall. I mean, this one at least is enclosed, and it seems fairly comprehensible. It simply leads down towards another room. The way, let's see how best to put this. The doorway is open, and there's light. But here's your opportunity to, well, maybe spec out the situation.
Ara is not a sneaky reconnaissance expert. She's a pilot, and she's very tired, so she's just leaning against the wall.
Charles will go out. Charles will take it to scout the situation.
Take a what situation?
Charles will take and go scout the situation.
Okay. Go ahead and give me control security.
Rick has his phaser out while Charlie's doing that and just sort of keeping watch, getting ready to intervene should Charlie be seen or attacked.
All right. Anyone else going to help with the recon prep?
Goral's going to do a scan to see if he can see anything in his scans of what's coming up ahead.
Spock helmet.
Yes, was the Spock helmet.
By the way,
Inside security.
I just remembered that Moo came with me and didn't stay at the Argo. Did Moo stay behind in the control room, or did Moo come with us down the hall?
I'm going to say Moo stay behind in the control room.
All right.
Moo is giving a quizzical look at the goat-faced man.
To be fair, it's what you do with a goat-faced man.
All right. 2 successes for Chorog, 2 successes for Graal. Chorog, as you step towards the room, you're not seeing, well, anything like, to the left, to the right, and you're able to just relay the information to Graal via a message. Graal, you're able to use that to sort of narrow down where you're going to be scanning. Now, Nick, I saw you typing. Did you want to add anything?
Sorry, my boyfriend interrupted me when I was trying to type. It's not relevant anymore.
Okie dokes. Graal, you're able to pinpoint the scan, and you're also able to, well, verify that there isn't anything to the left or right. So you look up, and you definitely have the sense from basically a gap in what you're able to detect, that something is up on the ceiling.
Guys, something is up.
Well, yeah, that much is obvious. This whole place is weird.
No. It's on the ceiling, and it doesn't look happy.
I mean, at least that's a running theme so far of angry things dropping from the ceiling.
Why was the door left open?
Last time it was through the ceiling, so, I mean, why is the door left closed?
Look, you know where it is, roughly, right? Don't everybody say so at once.
So, is Charles able to see this thing yet, or no?
Well, if you look, if you decide, the way I kind of have you pictured is that you haven't entered the room yet. You're basically you're approaching it and trying to look around the corners and basically see where the likely ambush point is. You're not able to unless you step into the room and potentially in the path of fire, you cannot see this thing yet. It's basically on the ceiling as close to the door as possible.
Oh. Okay, that makes things slightly different.
We need a hole up here. I'm going to send in one of my drones to see where this thing's at.
Alright, but don't break the room. We need that.
Yeah, as Chorog's doing drone things, Daniel's just thinking out loud. But if it was enough to make Arun flee Trident, you'd think that they'd lock the door, and if they didn't lock the door, you'd think that it couldn't leave the room. But if it couldn't leave the room, why would it be scary enough for them to leave? And
I mean, people don't do the most wisest things when they're in a panic.
They just wanted to leave the system as soon as possible to not be caught up in any trials that they would have been put through.
Yeah, retribution. But Daniel, I got one word for you: trap.
Consider it a parting gift from Arun. Whether it's the reason she left or not, the fact that it's in that room means that we have to deal with it.
I'm going to try to lure it out of the door frame, so at least we can get in there and have a fighting chance.
Hold on a minute. Is the room lit up, by the way?
Yes, it is. Very bright.
Alright. I think we should make it a little bit brighter. Throw a flash grenade in there. Won't damage anything, just make a big, loud bang and flash, you know?
If you got one, go right ahead.
Sure,
Yeah.
you carry those, right?
Yeah, Trog has a flash grenade. He attaches it to his drone and uses it as a portable lure.
And I will just say that I have this image of whenever somebody asks Chorog if he has a weapon, he just pulls open a coat and there's just all this stuff in there.
Basically.
His jacket has subspace pockets.
It has subspace storage pockets and thank you not to stick your hands out of it.
And dimensional hyperspace geometry. Trident has nothing on Chorog's jacket.
Hey,
All right.
hard to carry
Chorog-
that many weapons.
Chorog, go ahead and give me a control engineering roll to set this up and send the drone on its way.
Good roll. 2 successes.
All right, with 2 successes, you're able to basically, rig up the drone with a flashbang, and you're able to send it in the room. The additional benefits precaution, you're able to also set a proximity detonator as well as the timed detonator. So, and a manual. So basically, you've got a whole bunch of ways to make sure that this thing goes off. And as you send the drone into the room, well, the first thing that goes off is the proximity detonator because a javelin has been thrown into the drone. However, before impact, the flashbang goes off. There's a big boom, as well as a shriek. A not great shriek.
Okay, that sounds big and it sounds angry.
Alright, we know what to do.
And we rush in and start firing.
Yes.
Okay, do you want me to drop it, splatter it, or gooify it?
Just make it not live. Beyond that, I don't care. But
Not
don't hurt the room.
Okay, not live I can do. And I got a special round for that.
So, as you guys pile into the room, you hear a large thud over to your right. And about 9 feet tall is a large bipedal alien, strangely proportioned. It's got additional sets of limbs where limbs shouldn't be, long tail, squat head that almost looks like a cube. It has a single eye with, it could be dots around it, could be additional eyes, just could be markings. And it is pawing at its eye. So the flashbang has worked, and you now stand face to face with a very powerful outsider.
Light him up. And Kara pulls out, she's already got her gun out, and she just raises her pistol and fires at it.
Trog loads his special surprise round into his cannon.
Oh dear.
Eli's got his phaser, and Ryuji's drawing his sword and ready to charge.
Sorry, it's just, I have to wonder what the super special round is, if Grape Shot was not considered the super special round.
Okay, think grape shot, but explosive grape shot.
You do realize we have to not hurt the room, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm going point blank. It's going to hurt the thing. It's not going to hurt the room.
Yeah. You can give it a shot, but first I'm going to have this thing do its evade roll.
Daniel is staying in the doorway because he doesn't have a weapon. Just gravity glove raised in case it tries to make a run for the door.
Yeah, him and John are helping with backup. Grell?
Squirrel is gonna hang back as well, trying to hold back feelings of rage.
All right. This thing did 2 successes on its evade roll, So everyone do their variety of attack. If you're doing a ranged combat roll, it would be control security. If you're going to go do something fancy and stab, give me a daring security roll.
I just realized something. I took a talent with Ryuji, where when I make a melee attack, I can use fitness instead of daring.
Okay,
Go
so
for it.
Kara got 2 successes and 1 complication. Chora got 2 successes. I don't know who that was, but they got 1 success.
That was Ryuji. God dang it.
Ryuji got 1 success.
Okay, gorgeous. Open wide.
Eli, time. Give me a second.
And Rick is putting an extra bit of power into his phasers.
Oh. Sorry, I missed Rick. Rick rolled 3 successes. And Eli rolled 2.
You've got 1 success, 1 complication.
No, I've got 2 successes, 1 complication, because this utilized control.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, was that any crits there for that last roll?
Eli's not a combat person.
I do have 1 combat focus, but it's for melee only.
Do you want to try throwing a shoe at him?
Who throws a shoe? Honestly.
I was just wondering because those are some low rolls, and I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah. Or you could throw a melee weapon of some kind. I would give you 4 successes.
No, technically it would only be 3 because my security is 2.
Okay.
But I don't have nothing I could throw, and I'm not throwing these.
Okay. 2 is fine. All right. So for the people who got 1 or 2 successes, you're able to basically lay down some fire. But the thing, even though it's blinded, is moving at least by instinct in a way that is very difficult to pin down. Maybe you get a hit in, but it doesn't seem to have any effect. Rick, you were able to beam this guy pretty darn well with a phaser shot to the chest. That does seem to stun it a bit. However, its reaction there is to pull a javelin from its chest, which then also starts regenerating. And then it chucks that directly at Kara and pins her to effectively the floor by just stabbing through a loose part of her pants or shirt.
Okay, I was going to ask if you did it through the leg or what.
No. Like at first, like this, it's going to have enough control that it's not going to wound Kara. That may be an intention it has. Subaru eeps and jumps back. Setsa is also playing defense. Graves is kind of like shifting his way forward, kind of like holding the ground in between. So the creature, though, it basically stands to its full height after the first rounds. And there's a sense of sound, but you're not quite perceiving anything. It is quite garbled. And at this point, you start to see a little bit of movement out of your peripheral vision. And more of the outsiders from earlier, the spindly ones with the pokey legs, 2 of those start fading in. So now you have 3 outsiders here.
Kara just groans and just moves her leg, trying to rip her clothing free of the javelin. I was going to use fitness security for that.
Go for it. For the other attackers, which target are you going to be choosing for the next round?
Huh. I rolled a 1, so 3 successes ripping away from the javelin.
You now have a javelin.
Oh, no, she was just moving her legs, so she just ripped the cloth. I just don't know how that's... I guess she moved very quickly into cover or something.
Well, I'm going to say, as you move out of cover, the javelin comes free, and you now have it.
It's your javelin now.
+1 javelin.
I was gonna say, Daniel will. He's still holding up his right hand with the gravity thing on it, but with his left hand, there's a javelin just in the floor right in front of right by the doorway because it was thrown at the drone, right?
Well, yeah,
sure
there is another javelin.
And...
Yeah, there is a javelin skewering a drone right in front of the door.
Yeah, with Daniel's left hand, he's gonna retrieve that javelin from the drone, and at the same time yelling out, Why are you so interested in Kara for some reason?"
It doesn't
I'm
respond.
getting used to it.
Subata edges closer to the door, seeing if she can be any help. So you have the 2 flanking spindly outsiders. Anyone want to take a go at them?
Yeah, sure. I have a javelin, so since Kara doesn't really want to hang on to the thing, she's just gonna turn to the closest one, if they're equidistant, the one to her left, and chuck a javelin at it.
All right, go ahead and give me a control security.
Take this, you overgrown hairbrush.
Yeah, Charles could try to take on the other one.
Once more, Kara gets 2 successes and a complication.
All right, we'll deal with the complication in a second. Just waiting for Charog.
What am I rolling?
For your attack on the other one, or if you're doing ranged combat, control security.
Range. Charles going to fire a neutronium snare net at it.
All right.
Fitness security.
Control. You're still
security.
using.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, control security.
Got it.
2 successes. Well, Charog, you fire a neutronium snare at this thing. This thing that has been phase shifting. And it's caught for a second, and then steps forward and through it. So it was successful, but that particular strategy may not work well on the 2 flanking you.
That dirty little Habiba.
Kara, on the side, you are able to chuck this javelin clean through the outsider, causing significant damage. The problem is that the javelin ricochets and comes back at you. Give me a daring security roll.
These are some bouncy walls.
1 success.
You're able to basically flop aside before the javelin skewers you back, but it comes at the cost of your tactical positioning. So, yeah, basically not too graceful, but you have avoided harm. Now,
To be
the
fair,
primary outsider.
No one would expect a javelin to bounce.
Just like no one expects a Spanish Inquisition.
Oh, we're attacking the primary now?
The primary is attacking you guys.
Okay.
So the primary basically, it emits another shriek, and a small halo appears in front of its face. From that erupts a large laser, or some kind of particle beam weapon. It gives a tremendous sweep of the room. Everyone must now dodge, so there'd be a daring or fitness security, depending on your preference.
Does the laser sweep across the doorway?
No, it does not.
Alright, I'm going to have Charles roll daring security.
Kara got 1 success.
Ryuji got 2, now Eli.
Would
Kara
athletics
got 3
apply-
successes.
Would athletics apply to this as a focus?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Rick got 4 successes.
Did we just get like 3 momentum from this one thing? Or?
Well, you're having to beat a 3, so I will say you get one momentum from Rick.
Okay,
And
never
then
mind.
Eli got 2 successes.
Hold on a sec, I gotta PM Duncan something.
It's not what's going to happen, but I have this mental image that instead of like dodging, Rick just holds up a mirror.
Alright, I've had consensus that Duncan, it is 3 successes because the focus does apply.
Okay. 3 successes for Eli.
He dodges in style. So, 3 successes for Eli. You're able to basically get out of the way just fine. Rick, you're able to get out of the way and issue return fire, basically getting another free hit on the guy.
And I just
Charog, you're able to
realized
dodge
Ryuji
just...
also got 3.
What was that?
I said I just realized Ryuji got 3, I forgot to put his focus in.
Yeah. So Ryuji also dodges, also with style. Just not as much.
Well, that makes the only one hit then Kara.
Yeah, so Kara is the only one hit. Kara, do you have a personal shield?
Probably not. All her gear was taken some time ago.
All right, Kara, you are hit. To some surprise to the creature, it basically terminates the beam as it's hitting you, but you're given a heavy blast. Your cybernetic body is able to take it, but you are given a heavy thump. And pretty big amount of burning pain as a result of the hit.
Just to give the description, Kara had been, she had dived and was trying to crawl along the ground when she got hit by this, so it basically just went across her back, burned away her clothing, and the flesh, just revealing metal underneath. And she screams, because that hurt.
Subaru dives forward at this point, but I will give an opportunity for people to respond with a counterattack. So you still have the outsiders on the side. One of them's been hurt pretty badly. The other one has been occupied for a moment, dealing with the net. And then you've got the outsider in front of you, which is the heavy firepower.
We need to triangulate fire to try to get that thing down.
Eli is going to try to retreat back while firing and try to get to Kara.
Go on, I'll cover you.
Daniel will swap the javelin to his good hand and throw it at the big one.
So, are we rolling right now? Just
Yeah,
to be sure.
Rick is just going to keep firing on the big one.
Yep, go ahead and give me some rolls. Your preferred attack.
What do I got to do? Roll for to lay down cover fire.
Basically, same thing as rolling any ranged weapon. Control security.
Eli's going to be shooting as he's moving over to Kara, so we'll roll that quick.
Is the throwing a javelin control security?
It's a ranged attack, so yes.
Excellent. I'm assuming none of my focuses apply. The only ones I could even remotely think of would be space-time, or because they're like moving around weird, and like phase. Some of them are phasing in and out stuff. I don't know. Maybe robotics, if there are any robot. I don't know. I'm just gonna throw the thing.
And Ryuji is going to run up and stab big one.
Don't forget, we do have momentum to use, which I'm going to use one.
Yeah, this momentum lets you roll like an extra die, right?
Yeah.
I would also
Yeah,
like to use one momentum.
So we would be down to
1.
2 momentum? 1. Keep in mind, you also have your determination points. So if an action that you want to take counts for one of your values, then you're able to get an automatic crit on that action, using it in advance. Otherwise, I think you can just reroll with it.
All I got there is nothing ventured, nothing gained for a value. At least, I think that's the closest fitting thing. And then I'm going to roll one more time, just taking the first result.
2 successes for DB, 1 success for Rick Tier, 3 successes for Ryuji.
And, let's see. Let me just process this.
Oh, and 2 successes for Chorog above, sorry. Okay. That's the sort of roll that happens in STA, and you're like, I don't know what to do with that. But I think
I know what to do with that.
I think the beast just rolled 2 successes and a complication.
It did. All right, for 2 successes, you're able to keep this thing pinned down with your fire or sappy attacks. So that would apply to DB. Is that Ryuji with 2 or 3?
That's Eli with 2, Ryuji has 3.
Okay, so Eli is able to give covering fire, and basically the rest of the group is able to give covering. As Ryuji is able to go up and get a really good swing at this outsider, causing some pretty heavy damage to its left arm. So congratulations, you are definitely gaining ground on this thing. Part of the reason why you're able to do so well here is also the fact that it is trying intensively to look at Kara to see how badly she's been damaged by the hit. It did not intend to burn her.
So what are the giant overgrown hairbrushes doing?
So the giant overgrown hairbrushes at this point are going to do their rolls.
I think that was the one that got stabbed just rolling a single complication. And the other one got 3 successes.
One of them's got 3 successes. So for the one that... Okay, here's how it goes. Okay, so the one with 3 successes...
a hole through it.
Yeah, so the one with 3 successes, the one that Chorog threw a net at, and basically fires off a set of beams, driving Ryuji back. So Ryuji isn't able to basically stay within melee range. He has to take a little bit of cover here. The one who got no...
literally sending you something, but...
Oh, okay. Just a sec.
I know my talents, damn it.
Okay, you can go ahead and use those talents.
Yes. So that just makes
All right.
it more difficult for him to be hit.
Okay, so I couldn't also read the talent. The text was also really small.
Oh, sorry.
So what does your
Click, make it
talent do?
bigger. You're especially good at avoiding harm, blah, blah, blah. If hex against you, increase in difficulty by 1.
All right, yeah, so for 2, like, you're able, like... Yeah, the way I'll count that is basically no damage to Ryuji. And he's driven back, but not by much. So basically, he can't just continue meleeing, he has to close in again. For what that's worth. The one that got no success in the complication fires on the first outside, or the first of the hairbrush outsiders. So that takes damage. So now you have 2 damaged spindly outsiders and a damaged central outsider.
Well, misery loves company.
Indeed. All right. Here we go. All right. The large outsider makes a really powerful jump and tries to land in the center of the group. So basically closing to within its melee range of just about anyone it wants to. So people can now try to roll to effectively gain ground or move into melee range and set yourself up for some duking on your combat roll. So this would be sort of an invasion roll or a tactical positioning roll getting ready for a rumble.
I was going to say, Kara just tries to crawl for cover.
Eli's over her, ready to, he's trying to pull her into cover.
Trog just wants to try and gut the thing.
Join Ryuji in melee, then.
Trog has hand-to-hand combat.
All right, go ahead and give me a daring or a fitness security.
All right, Ryuji's got fitness.
I'll do fitness.
For Rick, this would probably be for you, unless you want to get into melee, an evasion roll.
Okay. Well, that would be control then, wouldn't it?
Yes, that would.
Okay.
Or fitness if you just lunge yourself.
Yeah, just so I can figure out what I'm doing next combat round. Are either of the thrown javelins anywhere near the doorway?
Like, there's the one that skewered the drone. So that
He had
would be
already
right
pulled
next to
that
the
out,
doorway.
and
Okay.
that was the last one he threw.
Yeah, I was more wondering about the one that, maybe the one that bounced off the wall. I don't know.
Yeah, that's just on the floor, but let's say that's near the big outsider. You can try to roll and grab it, but you're getting pretty close. And for dragging Kara to cover, let's go ahead and make that medicine fitness.
I was hoping you would say that.
I did daring security for Kara's roll. That's just her getting to cover, though, not firing.
Yeah. This is essentially the evasion roll. So, one success, you're able to get Kara a little bit back, but you're not able to, you're able to, between the two of you, you're able to get some distance, but not, into, full cover.
Look at those convenient red barrels over there. Surely nothing can go wrong.
For everyone else on the 2 successes, you're able to basically get into combat if you want, and then for Rick, with just the one, you're not able to get into cover, so you're still kind of target here with your ranged weapon.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Now, in the next set of attack rolls, Grawl, if you want to try running any interference or do a roll to see if you can get keep a hold on your temperament, that would be a thing to do.
Okay.
DB, you can try. DB, you still have the gravity gauntlet, right?
Yeah, after I threw the javelin, Daniel raised his hand up again.
Okay, yeah, so you can try pulling the javelin that's near the outsider towards you.
Yeah, you know what? I'll force pull the javelin.
Use the force, Daniel. The Go-Face Man does not say this.
I guess, you know what? If I'm only going to have one use of it until I can recharge it, so Daniel's going to actually run into the room, not into melee range, but he's going to try to, kind of close half the distance to pull it to him easier.
All right, go ahead and give me a control science.
That is the exact kind of roll I wanted to hear.
And then for everyone else, Oh, so the keeping your grip, that is for Grawl.
What kind of role do you want for it?
Yeah.
Okay. No, okay, so for Grawl, control command or control medicine. And then
Okay.
for everyone else, if you're meleeing, a daring or fitness security. And then for ranged, control security.
So this is the dog, right?
This is the stab.
Oh, okay, we're actually back into combat. All right.
Yeah, stab.
Okay, what can Eli do to, treat Kara? Like, finish pulling her to cover and treating her.
Okay, so go ahead and give me a...
I'll resolve Eli first.
Yeah, so go ahead and give me a daring medicine.
Daring? Ooh, spicy.
You were pulling and treating at the same time.
I tried to put my crit on and tried to do 8. Like, I fucking wish, buddy.
Oh.
Dang.
Eli, you magnificently performed triage while pulling a patient into cover. Precisely. So you're able to apply a little bit of dermal regeneration for what's left and apply some patches with...
Spray for the pain.
Yeah. With additional mids for the pain as well as hypospray. So Kara is basically good to go now.
Rick is going to be using his determination, his sense of duty, and is sort of trying to grab the attention of the big prime one, try to grab it focused on him rather than everyone else that's, sort of in cover.
All right. When you're rolling that, DB, you're able to force pull the other javelin into your hand, so now you have another javelin. Grawl, with only one success, you don't go into berserker rage, but you're not able to quell it either. You're basically able to remain settled for the time being.
Goro just frets and starts nervously plucking feathers, trying to use pain to make him to keep himself from going into complete berserker rage.
As Daniel just grabs the javelin, he just gives a big sigh, just, whew, thank God it didn't blow up.
Okay, so I had to use Dice Golem since Majel was being a big pain, and I got a total of 3 with determination.
So you're able to blast this thing pretty well in the head, causing some significant damage, while Ryuji is able to get in a hefty cut across its back ankle. Unfortunately, Chorog, you try to go in for the stab, but you miss. Not badly. It's just the attack is not effective.
Well, the focus of hand-to-hand combat, would that be 2 successes?
Oh, yeah. If you got to focus on that, 2 successes. So in that case, you're able to, you're able to get a hit in, but it doesn't. Or actually, on 1 success, and it does cause some damage. This thing, as it's basically getting hogpiled by melee combat, releases another blast of energy, and it takes out one of the other outsiders. So the one that, let's say the one that was subject to friendly fire beforehand. So that thing is now gone. It has been shot, and then it simply fades from view. The remaining straddle outsider, the remaining one is able to lay down some pretty good covering fire. Now, just because this is 3 successes, I'm just going to say that it basically breaks up the group. So everyone is sort of left to disperse a little bit. And that gives a pretty good opening for the big, the central outsider. And it's looking straight down the corridor at Sabatu. There's a lot of protection between Sabatu and the rest, but this thing is, it's sort of recalculating. However, at that point, there's a hefty thump and a blue flash. And someone else has entered the party. At that point, you guys see Bosho back. Although, mostly back. He is missing 2 of the arms on his left side. And he simply looks over, essentially he looks over to Eli and just chucks something at him. And that thing just twirls and just embeds itself on the floor, on the blade.
What the hell is this, Eli? What? Eli says, looking at it, like between it and Bosho.
So, Eli, you find that you have been thrown a sword. And it's a rather, well, it's a rather unusual looking sword. It looks to be like katana, but in sort of where you would expect to see just sort of, very well brushed metal. You can see behind a little bit of transparency, a little bit of luminescence, some kind of, almost looks like a bone-like pattern to it. So this thing is black, nearly obsidian, but in certain parts of the light has a little bit of like this ghostly white pattern, like curvy patterning underneath it. Bosho looks over and says, "I can no longer fight like I was. So I need someone else to go stab. So Eli, you go stab.
Okay.
Go stab.
Got it, big man.
I think you'll like it. I worked on it a lot at present."
Eli sighs and slings his rifle and takes the sword.
Eli now has a katana. John is like clapping and just celebrating the return of Bosho, while Bosho is ready just to lay down what hands he has left.
As I say, while everybody's distracted by all this, Card's going to shoot at the hairbrush that's left.
Go for it. Free attack. Everyone's distracted.
Heads up, I might lose Discord. It's acting a little wonky.
Two successes.
2 successes. You blast that. You basically blast out the remaining spindly outsider. It fades from view.
And the horse you rode in on, says Kara, falling back in the cover.
So Control keeps stabbing the big guy.
Yep, go ahead and keep stabbing the big guy. He's going to roll an evade and counterattack.
Is it our attack phase or his attack phase right now?
Basically doing both.
Okay, so we can just roll it. Well,
Yep, just go ahead and roll it.
Eli's going to just sigh and charge in.
He has been volunteered for the melee.
Daniel will be aiming for the head with this javelin.
Chorog just keeps cutting.
My god. That one was Eli. I haven't done Ryuji.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah, he got lucky on that. Now Ryuji time.
Ryuji.
Only one success for Ryuji.
Determination?
Nah, just gonna wait for momentum to be available.
I think
Okay.
I have one momentum left.
I think you need 2 to reroll a dice.
You do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's easier to gain extra dice rather than correcting for dice after the fact. So, with 3 successes, Eli is able to run forward, charge, and I'll let you narrate how you attack this thing.
I mean, okay, Eli's, wow, I wasn't expecting to be put on the spot. Eli has he's not used to sword like this. He's a fencer. He's got a cavalry saber hanging above his, like an officer's saber hanging above his, on his wall in his quarters. This, he's never used anything like, so he's going to be a bit sloppy with it. Even then, it's still very effective. He's just going in and wildly slashing at just anywhere it can, any weak points in the lower body. Just
Yep, and you're able to basically get its hamstrings pretty damn good for just going in and wildly slashing. For everyone else, you're basically you sort of exchange parries with this thing using a large another javelin is effectively a melee weapon. Meanwhile, let's see. Ryuji and Kara do take a couple of minor stabbings. So you have taken some pokies, and it hurts. Not too
I
badly.
was in cover. I didn't realize it could melee me.
It throws a javelin.
Oh.
Does the javelin pierce cover?
Like it basically, let's say like it hits cover and Kara gets like hit by a little bit of debris. It causes flaking. I'm just combining the attacks, so people who rolled a 1 got a little bit of damage, while 2 basically tied, and then 3 dealt damage.
Well, I mean, if you're looking at an actual dodge roll, I never made one.
Yeah, I was integrating them for this one.
Okay.
Basically speed things up because we're at
And-
9.
Well, if you're doing that, then mine is still 2 successes because it was a control roll.
Okay, yeah, Kara's fine then.
So,
So Ryuji gets a little pokey.
so the javelin missed.
Let's see. For 2 successes, yeah, like basically it had to dodge, but yeah, you just didn't. You may have like grazed it, but you didn't deal significant damage because it also rolled
had 3 successes.
Oh, Chorog had 3. Okay, yeah, Chorog's also able to get some good damage in. So you guys have got this thing put.
So Chog just basically buries both knives and just starts dragging down.
All right, as you're dragging down, it basically gives an opportunity for everyone to effectively go for another attack.
We get to go again? Alright.
Yeah, I'm just going to have it do sort of an evasion roll, and you guys keep going.
Yeah, well, I got distracted.
I guess Daniel's gonna run around to the nearest javelin on the floor, or embedded in just the nearest javelin that's around. If it's really near him, then I guess he'll throw it.
Oh,
But if not, he's just running to the next javelin.
that's 4 successes for Yuji.
3 successes for Rick.
I forgot to put my thing in the thing, but that's 4 successes.
All right. That's a good roll here. Gives me what I need. Oh, dear God.
Kara just got 5 by rolling an extra die.
Holy shit.
Have we ever done 5? Like in
I
modern
don't think
history?
that's ever happened before.
You know what? I can't be outdone. Ryuji's. I need an extra
There aren't
So
any.
we
I just
got-
spent the last momentum to get that one.
Determination.
determination. Come on. Yeah. How many extra die does determination get?
Well, determination gives you an automatic crit,
Okay, so
and then you roll.
so that's like 6.
Yes, so
I
I'm going to
won't
give it
be
up
able
between
to-
you two. You guys are going to do some teamwork here. So, Charg is dragging this thing down, and everyone's basically doing a good job of keeping it in cover.
Actually,
Kara.
I think I know what Kara's going to do. Kara just steps out from behind cover and yells at it, "Hey, big ugly, aren't you looking for me? Hey, over here!" And she's
Wait,
just
that's
trying,
it?
she's just trying to distract it.
You have its undivided attention, while Ryuji is coming down like a demon, katana primed on its neck.
He
And-
got them superhuman jumps. He's just going into the air.
Yeah, he just brings this down, and basically in a swift move that really catches everyone by surprise, cuts this thing's head off.
Can I do something too?
Yes, go for it.
He's also his blade as he's in the air. It's engulfed in blue flame, and yeah, that's all I want to add. It's just it's got the fire.
So yeah, you guys are able to slash through and kill this beastie. As you do, I mean, this thing starts disintegrating pretty quickly, effectively looking like it's self-immolating.
Kara's
And
arms
yeah.
drop as she's tired, and she just looks at it and says, "Whoops, sorry, I guess I distracted you."
Yeah, basically, Ryuji has a Demon Slayer moment. And yeah, you guys now have access to this little facility here, where you can designate a new caretaker. Give them a, first round of augmentation. Kuro is in the back, in the hallway. Just looks in, says, "Is everything okay now?"
I mean, depending on your way of looking at it. And Kara just kind of slumps against the, wall, sliding down to a sitting position, semi-conscious.
Eli drops the sword and quickly rushes over.
John picks up Eli's sword and walks behind him like a sword retainer, honoring the gift from Bosho. Bosho, meanwhile, looks around and looks to Ryuji and says, "Holy hell!" The second time you've ever heard a Tardigrade technically swear.
Ryuji grins, and his sword is still on fire. It's still just blue fire on the blade. He's just grinning and, does a pose.
And
Charles looks down one of those javelins, picks it up, and thinks to himself, I could do something with this.
Eli over at Car. You alright? You with me?
A response from her, she's semi-conscious.
Alright. I gotta do something. Medical time. What should I roll?
I mean, I would imagine control medicine, but I suppose it's up to Duncan.
yeah, control medicine.
Just being sure. I don't know if I had to diagnose it first with that. I'm not gonna question it. Control medicine.
Well, look at this as a combination of treating and diagnosing. Alright, so she's actually fine.
Oh. Hey, just
Okay, yeah.
She's still only semi-conscious. She's not really talking to you, but she's fine. Like, there is no obvious injury. If you had to guess, she's probably just completely exhausted.
Okay, so for the third time, fatigue, yes.
Yeah. So
Can we
fatigue
get some
and
water over here for her?
sets and nods and starts fetching some water from the survival packs while Dro is stepping up towards it looks still to be like a dais, this large pedestal at the center of the room.
Ryuji finally extinguishes the blade from his sword and resheathes it, looking over to the pedestal. That's gaudy. Anyone else think so?
The silence would seem to
John-
indicate apparently not.
No, John looks over and says, it's cool.
I don't know. It's a pedestal. It just insists on itself.
So, yeah, Dro is up there just contemplating his fate. And it just takes a long look and looks over to Kara and says, well, doing this and, I just wish if, things were better and we dealing with a caretaker that was, had more sense that, well, this could be the way it would have gone down at the first and you would never have had to, suffer with the gift I'm about to receive.
I mean, she's not in a position to respond, but I will point out that she got half the gift, which is the bitch of it.
Dro sighs and looks back over to Graves. Graves says, well, kid, gotta take the big step, and the only thing you can really do is just, go forward with it. Probably gonna be rough. Probably gonna feel very bad over the next few days, but we'll get through it.
You are taking a big step and a big lot of responsibility. Not many people would do that.
Dro shrugs and says, well, grew up in the wilds, made my way in the slums, and, that gives perspective worthy of helping Trident, then it's been worth it. So, here it goes. And, he kind of just puts a hand on the pedestal, and immediately, tendrils come up from the edges and just stab through his hand. And that looks like it hurts a lot. Sabatu puts a hand on his shoulder, and, the pain subsides quite a bit. From that, the process continues on until, you're seeing the room start responding to Dro. And at a certain point, there's a holographic message display that says, new caretaker of Trident, Dro the First.
The Garen just kind of moves over. He wasn't in the fighting since he'd been damaged and never got a chance to repair, and simply says, and so it is done. What is thy will, caretaker?
A second. All right, I can see again. Stabilize things here on Trident, call off any war that's currently being waged between Trident and anyone else, and let's start just taking stock of what we need to do.
It will be done. I will see to the security forces, and then I will make repairs.
With that, the group is basically free to go back to the main control room. In there, you have the outsider looking quite a bit more relieved than you saw him last time. Says, everything turned out well, and to that, I'm satisfied.
Osho just carries Kara piggyback from one room to the other. He might be missing some arms, but he's still very, very strong.
They'll grow back, it's fine.
You have little tiny stubs, if you look close enough, starting to poke back out. got like tardigrade arms for a tardigrade that's only about an inch long. I'll go back. At this point, Setsa raises a hand.
I don't really have any characters awake or conscious or around.
Yes, Setsa, what is it you can just speak of those sounds? You don't.
No, alright, I mean, we're, big outsider guy here, and things seem to be formal, but, well, with everything that's happened, I mean, Cora was taken to become the caretaker, and he let us here because, Trident's falling, and, for an outcome that was less destructive. But, what about Graves? Like, why was he changed?
That is a good question. One we might not be able to solve here. That might require something else. I think Satius knew something. He seemed he was hiding it, though.
The caretaker smiles and says, "Indeed, that is probably your best course of action, because truthfully, I do not know. That your augmentation was neither, any of my doing, or Bosho's doing. It wasn't really Arun's doing. I mean, Trident performed it, but not by her directive. So what information you can find elsewhere might be helpful."
Which there's also another Graves question. Italy, what is going to be happening to Graves after this? Can you leave, or are you him now, or is he part of you? Like, what's happening?
Well, the way we're handling it, it's actually it's actually me grave stalking. Effectively, able to switch back and forth at this point. He takes over for a little while, I take over for a little while. I'm still here riding along. But, I mean, as far as things are, I think eventually it's going to just be mostly me, with probably a little bit of memories and experience from Ilium. It doesn't really feel that different, really.
So you're
just more.
absorbing him.
I mean, it feels a little disconcerting when you put it that way, but, I don't know there was really a difference. I mean, if you just kind of put it that way, it's tough. It just, feels like more me.
I think that's just your brain tricking you.
All right, well, Blaine got plenty of time to figure it out. Oh, yeah, Starfleet's not going to like this.
Well, let's see if we can get as much record as we know what happened and everything, so we can at least know what's going on.
All right. Sounds good. Anything else you need from this facility besides a ride out of here?
We should probably gather everyone first. I think we just sort of left Checkers waiting outside.
Oh, yeah.
He's still waiting for a portal.
Okay, yeah. Dro, can you see? Okay, Dro's seeing to that right now. Good.
Sabatu raises a hand.
Yeah, Sabatu?
Also, don't forget about the entire camp we left on Alpha.
That goes without saying.
Okay, yeah.
That
But I'm just saying,
Reliant can get.
I was about to say, at that point, Sabatu looks at Eli. If that goes without saying, then why didn't Checkers go without saying? He was part of the camp.
Because Reliant can easily get everyone in the camp. Checkers is on a different planet.
Speaking of which, we should tell Reliant they don't need to hide anymore.
Yeah, I mean, probably best do that in person, because, just to make sure, let them know it's not a trap. We haven't been captured and forced to have Reliant reveal itself.
Alright, and we're probably going to do a head count before we leave, because some people from the base could have gone sightseeing or...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, yeah, we'll do a double checking with, the people we brought along the way. And he looks at Moo, and Moo at this point is holding up some kind of implement, and then just sort of gently sets it down and just moves.
How many casualties do we have? Just none? I'm hoping none.
I think none.
Well, it depends on if you're looking at fatalities or casualties.
No, injuries are also casualties.
Well, in that case, you've got Kara, obviously. Nobody else ever hit in combat.
No,
Chorog got hit once or twice.
Yeah, Chorog and Ryuji have slight boo-boos.
Okay, casualty is unable to keep fighting, so they're fine.
Yeah. So basically, it is
Just Kara.
Yeah, it's just Kara.
Just but a scratch.
You'll get a purple heart, don't worry.
Yeah, Grawl, you're in a weird case with PTSD, because on the one hand, you're not capable of continuing fighting, but you were never supposed to be fighting in the first place.
Yes.
We're all going to have a little bit of PTSD, don't worry.
And Grawl, don't worry, you totally didn't eat a person, we promise.
What happened while I was away?
Okay.
Well, Grawl lost control of himself during a fight with some Screeve, but he totally didn't eat a person. I can't emphasize that enough.
Yeah, he totally didn't turn a guy into a big Lunchable.
Now
Oh,
you're
no.
making it sound like he actually did.
Well, to kill the joke, he did, but Grawl, in character, asked us to tell him that he didn't do that, and everybody did.
It's all good.
I'm sure
So, yeah,
some therapy
everyone-
with Waitley will help.
No, it will not. Other therapist. We've got another
I
one.
mean, that would help Grawl to be okay with it. I don't think Grawl should be okay with it.
Wait, let's try to make you eat more people.
Gotta normalize it.
Little shrine
anyway,
trail.
on that note, does anyone have anything else they want to do in the big control room for Trident?
That whole conversation, Daniel has been messing around with the consoles, trying to figure out what actually happened to Gamma. Why is it the way it is?
The consoles do not respond to you.
And I will say that answer would probably be several books worth of information anyway.
Yeah, there's no easy answer for that. We'll start approximating an answer next time.
Writing them token books. Don't forget to start with the language.
I've actually done that a little bit for Ibby.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Ryuji. Yeah, I was just trying to find a way to bring Ryuji along. We're adopting.
So
him.
So Ryuji's just hanging around with the group?
Yeah, he's sitting there in the control room. So somebody made
Yeah.
him the offer.
Graves looks over to Ryuji and says, you want to come along?
Will I get paid?
Sure, we've got replicators, and you can basically have whatever you want.
Don't know. Replicator's the magic shit we're using, right?
Well, there's magic shit, but there's also good trade opportunities and, quarters. Also, there's a place called Japan. I think you might really like it. So, yeah, probably going to have some shore leave here, so...
You still haven't paid me, by the way, for my current...
Oh, yeah. The payment's on the ship. We'll make sure that you have everything and more.
All right, so we're on another planet, right?
Currently, yes, we're on another planet.
Well, I need to send word to my people that I will be gone a long while. I don't know how long you intend to keep me.
As long as you want.
They're already used to me not being around. They don't need me. They're old.
Oh. Well, you can certainly visit. I think, Dro. And Graves' personality, his stance shifts a little bit. His eyes turn orange. Giving you guys a pretty clear sign that Ilium is speaking. And Ilium says, Dro, I remember some better days on Trident. I'm going to try opening things up a little bit. Maybe establish a little bit of ambassadorship places. Gateways. Dro says, yes, we'll examine it. Yeah. And Graves looks back to Ryuji and his eyes shifts to his normal hazel and says, all right, yeah, I think you might be also be able to visit your folks with quite, potentially some flexibility.
All right, we're only 1 or 2 villages, so...
Well, still. Show them some good stuff.
So you were talking about, or all of you were talking about people being taken. Are my people taken?
Well, quite possibly. I mean, at some point, whether or not you evolve.
Oh, you're in charge now. Can't you just figure that out?
Dro nods and says, Dro nods and says, we'll certainly inquire once the data processing is straightened out.
Realizing he... Oh, sorry.
But he says, Dro can finishes and says, but I think, well, there are some that have kind of, for all intents and purposes, have always been here, but I think your people were taken.
Yeah, old stories, I don't know, scholars, not me. They say that we came from somewhere else. Or more of us.
And I may be able to get you information on where that might be.
Alright, well, I'm hearing that I have unlimited food and can always just come back and I'll be in space, which is weird, but it's an extremely stupid decision. A real man's gotta be a little bit stupid.
Graves pats Ryuji on the back. All right, excellent. I'll make sure folks get you a good set of quarters on the ship and start decorating. But payment first.
Failing to get the consoles to do anything, Daniel just kind of smacks a console lightly, and just turns away. And then there's Moo, just kind of right there when he turns around. And Daniel asks Moo, "So, do you want to come with us, or do you want to stay, or?"
Moo shakes their head. Moo.
I don't know which question you were answering with that. Do you want to?
And yet, it's still the most straightforward communication we've gotten.
Moo seems to be staying on Gamma.
Well, Daniel just kind of pats Moo on the head. Just, well, gonna miss you, buddy.
Moo returns the gesture. And with that, well, the strange information that he's received kind of crystallizes a little bit, and you gain a little bit more insight into how the universe works. Kind of a weird sensation from a head pat, but yeah, Moo's giving you, a little bit more of a parting gift of like, hey, here's reality.
Daniel's just like over time, just slowly collecting more and more insights into the nature of the universe.
And also, Chorog needs to get the hole in his chest attended to. So I'll let Eli make one last medical roll for that.
I mean,
well,
I thought I already attended to it. That's the thing.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. If you have, then yeah, we can just move on to.
I'll do another roll just to completely. It wasn't even a hole. It was like a burn. But I'll do a roll.
Okay.
I'll get rid of the scar. Stand still. Never mind. It's permanent. It's a permanent scar.
He gets a permanent scar from it.
Scars.
It's another battle scar.
I feel like this is better than a success. This is a trophy for you. Just don't
That
get
is
Wait,
that's complications on Reliant.
Can Nausicaans get scurvy? Tell me that.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, don't get scurvy then. This'll just all come apart and it'll be bad.
Okay. And with that, the group basically assembles, and Dro is, ready to transport the group back to Reliant. Dro says, well, I suppose one should have great parting words at this time like this, and in time, perhaps I'll be able to give them, but for now, I'll just say, thank you for everything you've done. You helped save the worlds. Anyone is free to reply to that.
Daniel just gives a thumbs up and says, yeah.
Anyway, we'll get Kara to medbay and, just keep her there till she wakes up, and then she's free to go back to her quarters. Just keep under watch. All things given.
Sets nods aggressively. And,
also,
yeah.
One last thing. He looks to Dro. I want the arm that I made her back.
He nods and says, we'll find it.
Alright. That was perfectly good craftsmanship. You're all just doing this. Alright, that's
Rick just gives him a quick, a silent sort of nod and appreciative. Doesn't really have words himself to say.
Alright, and with that, everyone's transported back to Reliant.
Alright, well, are we on the bridge or in the transporter room?
In the transporter room.
Alright.
The bridge is being apprised of the situation, and you guys are getting an extra scan to make sure you're clear of anything. But now is going to be basically a quick opportunity for last scenes before I've got a post-credit scene.
Okay.
If Daniel and Watley see each other, Daniel will just kind of like look at him, just do the little like, the thing where he like points at his own eyes, then points over at Watley's. It's just the I'm watching you kind of motion before he moves on to wherever he was going.
Frog takes all his new toys and heads to his quarters. He needs to build something special.
Rick immediately heads down to engineering and just gets surprised with the current situation and sort of just checks that things are running as smoothly as they should be, which they are.
Eli takes his sword from John and goes up to the bridge and, starts, prepping for aftermath things. Cloak off, all that.
All right. Anything else?
I guess Ryuji's going to the bar since, he's got to be given quarters first, and Checkers is not there to give him quarters as quartermaster.
Checkers is, the people who are on beta, they're being gated over, so they'll be in the hangar bay shortly. With that, let's quickly cut back over to, space outside Trident, and a shuttlecraft that's been tooling around for a little while. And Faberry at the helm.
99 bottles of beer in the world, 99 bottles of beer. Take one out and anyone out there? Anyone out there?
Is she hitting the comms?
Yes.
She gets a reply back. Lieutenant Moon here. Faberry, how you doing?
Oh, thank goodness I've been up in space ever since, we delivered the, Mac.
Crew's been recovered. Seems that there's been a happy resolution, and you are free to return home. Sending you coordinates.
This, shuttle doesn't have any propulsion, that's why I'm stuck up here.
Alright, we'll come get you. I think we got a fix on you right now. And we're free to be moving around the system, so yeah. ETA looks to be 6 minutes.
Thank you, I've got one guest threat.
What was that?
Oh, there's a nice old right here. He figured out how to make the life support get work. I don't know how he did it, but he did it.
Alright, we'll make sure medical is standing by. And, with that, we cut to our final scene. Somewhere near Gamma, or within Gamma. And you see just in this large cavernous space, this little ribbony white streak moving along the wall. And resolves itself, and it's Moo. Moo's somewhere in Gamma. And slinks around and comes to a walkway and extends quite a ways, a few miles. He proceeds along up until he gets to this great luminous white sphere. Moo places a hand on the sphere, and something in the sphere moves. And with that, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us tonight, and we'll pick things up sometime in the near future with, more Reliant. Again, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us tonight for the special finale.
Should we tell everyone the news about me, or is that just staying,
No, that's, up to you. So,
I'm not going to be around for a while.
Yeah. Nick's got some pretty cool Navy stuff to attend to, so he won't be with us for next few months, but he will be back, and we will be back to big adventures sometime in the future. So, things to be still worked out. But yeah. Big hugs for Nick, big hugs for everyone. And yeah, just basically, have fun. And if you've got any email, send it to reliant@starbasegc.com. And we'll be seeing everyone out there. Say good night to everyone.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night, good luck, bye bonds.
Good night.
Good night and goodbye.
And remember, you're no one till somebody loves you, and I love you. Goodbye.